And if you don't know, now you
Stand down. I'm not the one to fear, Prime. There is a darkness coming.
Okay, this is my spoiler review of Transformers Rise of the Beasts. So if you haven't seen the movie yet, go see it right now. It's worth checking out. And yeah, now let's get on with the review. Transformers Rise of the Beasts. I saw it a second time tonight, and I have to say the second viewing I enjoyed much better than the first viewing. I was just kicking back, relaxing, with a big old smile on my face, clapping, cheering, because I felt like a kid watching the 2007 movie again. That's what vibes I got from this movie. Of course, Optimus Prime does his classic speech, and I swear, every time this man gives a speech, to quote Crosshairs,
Love that guy. Goosebumps every time.
gives me goosebumps every single time. I was clapping, I was cheering, I was smiling. It was so good. So yeah, without further ado, let's get down into this, shall we? The plot. The plot of the movie is pretty much the Autobots teaming up with the Maximals because Unicron is after this thing called the Transwarp Key. It's pretty much a MacGuffin, which ironically reminds me of the pillars from Transformers Dark of the Moon, which is pretty much a space bridge through time and space, and pretty much Unicron sends the Terrorcons, Scourge, Nightwing, and Battletrap. Yeah, as far as the plot goes, I enjoy the plot. It's a throwback to the Bayverse Transformer movies and how they were globetrotting adventures. Yeah, it was really enjoyable. It felt like a combination between Indiana Jones and Transformers. It felt like a G1 Transformer cartoon. Bumblebee dies. Bumblebee dies. What? That caught me off guard, but he comes back in the end, and yeah, I really enjoyed that. Bumblebee dying and coming back. When he came back in a grand entrance. Everyone was clapping in my theater, and it was quite awesome. And Mirage also dies. And then he turns himself into an exosuit for Anthony Ramos' character. Kinda awesome. As well as Airazor dying too. Optimus Primal kills Airazor. There goes that money down the drain. Which I understand, because Airazor becomes corrupted by cosmic rust, and I understand why. Scourge. So, in my review, I stated I feel like Scourge is missing something. I feel like Scourge, there's more to him than meets the eye.
Probably have a new villain, but it might be one you've seen before in a different way.
Mirage kicks Scourge's mask off. It was gonna be a big reveal. Leading up to this movie, there's been all this speculation, all this theorizing that Scourge is Bayverse Optimus Prime. There was proof, there was evidence of it. Scourge's head even looked like Bayverse Optimus Prime. When Mirage punched Scourge's mask off, I thought it was gonna be Bayverse Optimus Prime. But it's not. It was just an undead random Joe Schmo. Now, Transformers has a history of Scourge being evil version of Optimus Prime. That's how it's always been. I feel like that was a part missing from this movie. I feel like that was a plot in this movie. Because if you listen closely throughout this movie, there are hints of Bayverse throughout this movie. There are big callbacks to the Bayverse in this movie. So I thought it was building up to that. Because Optimus Prime in this movie, very kill happy. Optimus Prime also has the Bayverse Prime sword. Optimus Prime also makes the same sounds as the Bayverse Prime does. The same sound effects as the Bayverse Prime.
Under the classified alien Autobot cooperation.
And I thought maybe that's their hint, but no. Scourge is just Scourge. I like Scourge. He's a cool villain, but I wish it would have been Bayverse Prime. How awesome would that reveal been? Especially since they were possibly building up, since there were clues throughout the movie building that up. But sadly, it's not the case. Scourge is just Scourge. The biggest question of this film is it a reboot? I have to say yes. What they are setting up at the end, they are setting up something big. And even though the producer said several times that it's not a reboot, it's a continuation.
Well, you know, there's been a lot of talk about reboots and does this have anything to do with the Bay movies? And the way I look at it is it's one world. And we started in 1987, Bumblebee, if you would, and now we're in 1994, and then Bay's movies start in 07. So I look at it as kind of a continuum.
Uh-huh.
The Rise of the Beast, start of a new continuity?
I don't think so. I think it's part of this one continuity.
Really? It's a freaking reboot. You're telling me somehow Unicron ends up in Earth eventually down the line and they mention none of this? I don't mind it being a reboot, because after the last night, obviously the studio wanted to go in a different direction. Now, do I wish that Scourge was Bayverse Optimus Prime? Yes, that would wrap things up with the Bayverse. But it's not the end of the world. This is a new film for a new generation. This is this generation's 2007 Transformers movie. The music cues kind of throw you off a bit, because the music cues in this film are the exact same from the first one. And it kind of throws you off, and it's like, oh, okay, maybe it's a callback. Maybe it's a great wink wink nudge nudge. The post-credit scene. Oh my god, I lost it during the post-credit scene. The reason I'm okay with this film being a reboot is because what it sets up, which is a G.I. Joe crossover. Oh my god. This dude was like, yeah, we're fighting a war.
We're in the middle of an ongoing war.
The moment that happened, I'm like, oh, is it Sector 7? Sector 7? Okay, Sector 7, cool. Anthony Ramos flips the card over. G.I. freaking Joe, baby! I lost it. I'm like, yes! Oh my god! G.I. Joe! G.I. Joe! What? I lost it. Yeah. Now, the reason why I'm okay with this being a reboot is because obviously they're setting up 80s G1 Transformer cartooning vibe with this universe, because the Michael Bay universe is very grounded. So if they try to G.I. Joe crossover with the Michael Bay universe, I don't think it could work. But now that they're setting up a more G1, more cartoony-esque universe with the G.I. Joe Transformer verse, it works. You understand why. I'm okay with that, because it's not as grounded in reality, more on the cartoony side of things versus the grounded side. And I can't wait to see what they do with this universe, with G.I. Joe and Transformers being in the same universe. So those were my thoughts on Transformers Rise of the Beast. Those were the biggest things I wanted to talk about. And overall, I really enjoyed Transformers Rise of the Beast. It felt like I was watching the 2007 movie again. Stay tuned for my next video, because I'm going to rank the Transformer films to worst to best. So stay tuned for that. That's all for this time. Punch out like button face like boss. See you guys in the next show. Bye-bye.